This is the first paper that I'm going to record myself grading. This will give you an idea of my thought process as I'm reading and grading. And then I can also give you guys some tips as I'm going along that will help you all semester. So one of the first things that I do is turn on the track changes, and you'll notice in your grade feedback that you get from me in Canvas, I tell you how to turn this, or how to make sure that the all the markup is showing. So this is what I'm talking about when you see my comments and I say go to the review tab. Whoops. If you have a PC, this section here will say tracking, and then you'll see this drop down menu should say all markup. Sometimes it switches on a PC to simple markup, but you want it to say all. Okay, so the first thing that I typically look at is the format. Big thing in business writing is designing your document so that it appeals to the reader and it's quick and easy for your reader to get through. So one thing you want to do is make sure you are using headings. That increases readability because that tells your reader what to expect in that section. Also, you want to make sure you use short paragraphs. When you have a long paragraph, your reader in the business world is more than likely just going to skim through and not read the whole thing. And you want your readers to read all of your message. So use short paragraphs. Also, you want to create white space. So one thing, this is a great example, like using, if you can, a bulleted list or numbered list to organize your information, but also you'll see it creates white space here. And having short paragraphs increases white space too. The thing about white space, it's really, really important, especially when someone is going to be reading your information on a computer screen, because it just makes it easier on the eyes. So looking at this memo format, we have the to, the from, and like I said in my announcement, after this first assignment, none of our other assignments will say anything about EN 306B. Nothing. They won't even say Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, nothing like that, because we're going to treat them all like they're real business documents. Now the next thing, we have our date and our subject. We want to make sure our subject lines are really specific because the subject line tells the reader what the document is about. So like some of you guys just put introduction, but that doesn't tell me anything. Introduction to what or to whom? So make sure your subjects are specific. The other thing I look at is consistency, so paying attention to detail. So I look at like the spacing, make sure that the spacing around headings is consistent. I make sure that the spacing between paragraphs is consistent. Let's see. So this heading here and this heading here, both are bold. That's fine. But this one has a colon, so that's inconsistent. So I'm going to delete that. Same thing with this one. And lastly, this one. So the thing is, it might seem kind of nitpicky, but I am a firm believer in paying attention to details. If you don't pay attention to details, you're sending your audience a message, and it's not a good message. So sometimes, and I mentioned this in my syllabus, sometimes the only time someone will ever really get to know you in a work capacity is through your writing. And if you don't pay attention to details and you don't proofread, or like you have like incomplete sentences or you're not making sense, you're sending a bad message about yourself. So alright, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I notice here is we just have this heading. We don't have any kind of introduction. So instead you need, my dogs are getting stir crazy, if you can hear them in the background. An introductory paragraph goes here. Okay, so you need to start with some kind of introductory paragraph that tells, and it could be a couple of sentences that tells the reader the purpose of your message. Okay, the next part, background. I was born the second of 3 children to Randy and Diana Kent. My birthplace was on the Army base at Fort Sill in Lawton, Oklahoma. Although I was born in Oklahoma, I was raised in the suburbs of Columbus, Ohio. Our childhood, hold on, I'm gonna let my dogs out real quick so they'll leave me alone. Here. Okay. Sorry about that. I was raised in the suburbs of Columbus, Ohio. Our childhood was filled with love, fun, and countless hours at the ball field. So I know there's like kind of a topic of debate sometimes about whether or not to use the Oxford comma or the serial comma, which is the last comma before the conjunction in a list of items. I think it's a lot clearer when you do use it, because if you have a conjunction without a comma, it can mean something different. So I say use the serial comma. Anyway, we are a competitive family, always pushing each other to be the best at everything we do. Our parents taught us the value of hard work, and that has enabled us to push ourselves to succeed. We grew up with 5 people and only 900 square and only. Okay, we grew up with 5 people and only 900 square foot house. So it should be like in a 900 square foot house. I know like this person's trying to emphasize that was like tiny. So I'm just gonna say in a 900, and then we're gonna put hyphens, because whenever you use more than one word to kind of form one word and then be an adjective, you have to hyphenate it. Another thing is whenever you have numbers 1 through 9 should be spelled out. 10 and up should be used in figures like 900. But if you have one that's 1 through 9 and then mixed in with one that's 10 and up, then they're all going to be figures. So we grew up with 5 people in a 900 square foot house, so we were constantly on top of each other. This made us very close as kids, which is something that has carried on into adulthood. So far, really good. It's a memo, which is internal communication. It's professional, but also very conversational. So in high school, I had math class with the woman who will later become my wife. Oh, cute. We were not childhood sweethearts, and were not particularly close in school. Okay, so here's a conjunction with a comma. If you have a conjunction and it is not joining 2 complete sentences, then you do not need that comma. So if you have a conjunction, you can stop and say, what comes before a complete sentence? We were not childhood sweethearts. Yep, it is. Is what comes after a complete sentence. We're not particularly close in school. That is not a complete sentence. So we do not need a comma with it. So pretty much a comma with a conjunction works the same as like a period, which works the same as a semicolon. Those 3 things are the only 3 things that you can use to separate 2 sentences, 2 complete sentences. Okay, we have been married 3 years and have 3 wonderful little boys. My wife is Khmer. I'm probably like botching that. Cambodian and Chinese. Oh, okay, cool. But she has been raised in Ohio. Our marriage has brought together 2 very different cultures into one comprised of many cultural influences. As we raise our sons, okay, so we want a comma after an introductory expression. Okay, hold please. Come on, go. Okay, so you want a comma after an introductory expression. So the actual sentence here is, we try to provide them a balance of the different cultural and religious experiences that they have. And then this is the introductory part of it. So as we raise our sons, okay, sorry about that. My dog is a very loud drinker, so I just wanted to put the water up really quickly. So anyway, and I meant to mention the same thing up here. In high school, comma. So comma after an introductory expression. As we raise our sons, we try to provide them, okay, I read that already. Below is a listing of our 3 sons and their ages. Nathan, Connor, and Wyatt. Perfect, age 7, age 4, age 9 months. Okay, so this is perfect. Just so you know, a colon comes after a complete sentence. You'll see it used incorrectly so many times, but this one here is used correctly, so good job. All right, interest. I have a very large range of things that I find interesting. I am a naturally curious person, which helps to broaden the range of things I enjoy doing. On the relaxed side of activities, comma after an introductory expression. I enjoy reading a good book when I manage to make the time to do so. I love that books allow you to paint your own picture of the world instead of seeing what Hollywood thinks. Hollywood thinks it should be like. Movies also tend to alter or shorten the story to fit the appropriate time frames. Time frames. One word. For a movie or show, and this takes away from the story. I may prefer to read the book, comma, here's that conjunction. And I should mention, for those of you who don't know what a conjunction is or you can't remember all the conjunctions, they spell fanboys. For and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So when you see one of those words, one of those fanboys, again, is what is before the complete sentence is what is after a complete sentence. If your answer to is yes, then you need a comma with it. If your answer is no, then no comma. I think, but I do still enjoy watching a good movie. I think my favorite part of movies my favorite part is, because the subject is actually my favorite part, is watching them with my wife and children and discussing them after it is over. Part of movies is watching them. Okay. So watching them like it's more than one, with my wife and children discussing them after it, like it's only one movie. So we actually need to make sure that this matches in tense. So that means that like if we're going to say movies, more than one movie, them is plural again to match movies, then this pronoun and this verb also have to match the tense. Growing up playing sports, comma, after introductory expression, I do still require more physical activities in my life. I enjoy getting outdoors to hunt and fish. I love nature and being able to provide for my family. My oldest son is turning into a great fisherman who even managed to tie me yesterday on the number of fish we caught. Cute. I play adult softball with my younger brother and my dad, and we actually have an all-night tournament next Friday. I really enjoy the time we get to spend together on the ball field. Okay, up here, it was somewhere up here. It was one word. So, where did it go? Okay. As we seem to get a lot less of it now, I really enjoy the time we get to spend together on the ball field, as we seem to get a lot less of it now that my brother and I have children of our own. Good. So you notice too that these paragraphs, they're short, they're quick and easy to read, and then the nice thing is that they are separated by different, a different focus in each one. So that's one thing I've seen is some people have like really long paragraphs and it has a couple different main foci in it, and so for this one, you'll notice like he's talking about something different specifically in each paragraph. So let's see, most topics in school came very naturally to me, which made a lot of school fairly easy. Okay, I just was curious what it said. This was a blessing and a curse, as I was able to do the work, yet figured since I could do well on the test without it that I should not have to do it. Okay, there's one of those fanboys, or yet, and it is not connecting two complete sentences. Now I can tell that because figured is a verb, but there is no subject, and this is going to say can or could. Yep. So anyway, so let's see. A lot of times this stuff pops up. At least on my Mac, it pops up with more like preferential things. Let's see. With this mentality, comma after introductory expression, I did not get good grades, comma with the conjunction joining two complete sentences, because I already see here's a subject. I still managed. There's my predicate to do well on tests. This continued into my first attempt at college, which did not last long. Okay, so one thing real quickly here. This continued into my first attempt at college, comma, which did not last long. Comma here before that afterthought, and then same thing up here, naturally to me, which made a lot of school fairly easy. I did not take classes again until years later when I gained an employment with the Ohio Department of Taxation. Once I started working there, comma after introductory expression, I found out that I needed to take a few tax classes in order to move up, and so I took a few classes there. Even though I was still not concerned with grades as long as I was passing. That's an incomplete sentence. So this is going to just say it should be 2. Boop. Okay. Now I work at DFAS. I have started college again. So that's, right now it's a run-on sentence. So maybe he meant now that I work at DFAS, comma, because we have that introductory expression. I have started college again, comma, with the conjunction, because we're doing two complete sentences, but this time at Park University. Oh, wait, actually, no. I thought I was going to say something different. But this time at Park University. Let's see. Oh, actually, yeah, sorry. Comma, because that's an afterthought. So your brain will like fill things in because it thinks it's going to say something. After my first few semesters, comma after introductory expression, I received a letter stating that I had made the dean's list for the period. This helped to change my attitude towards my grades, comma, with the conjunction, because we're doing two complete sentences. I have worked diligently to continue to make the dean's list. I recently obtained my AS in accounting and am currently in my second semester of my BS in HR. Lots of letters there. So technically, you should spell out these abbreviations. And then once you've used abbreviation, once you spelled it out, you could put it in parentheses. And then after that, you can abbreviate as you please. But the first time, you should spell those out. My hard work has earned me a GPA of 3.812, let's see, and I am trying to improve that with each class I take. Good. Achievements. Let's make some words here. I have had many personal and professional achievements, comma, with the conjunction, because we're doing two complete sentences. Below is listed some of the ones that mean the most to me. So here are some accomplishments. Selecting a great wife. She was supported, loved, and pushed. She has supported, loved, and let's add that zero comma, and pushed me to be a better man. Raising good children. Although not complete, this is the most important thing I will do in my life. Good reputation. Okay, so here's one thing. When you have a list of things, whether it's in a bulleted list or in a sentence, each item has to be in parallel format. So that means that each item has to have the same grammatical format. So for example, all of these except for this third one are in the same grammatical format. Selecting, raising, gaining, graduating. They're all verbs ending with ing. So let's say having, or even like, I don't know, maintaining a good reputation. And one thing I love about this is the consistency in formatting. So this person chose to capitalize the major words in each of the items he listed, and he did it in every single bullet. I love that. Consistency, details, okay. Known as honest, hardworking, and capable professionally as well as personally. So the first two here were complete sentences. This one is not a complete sentence. So make sure, oh, and that little hyphen is smaller than the rest of them. Again, details, right? Yeah, so that should be a complete sentence. Gaining employment with DOD. I have a lot of pride in working for the Department of Defense. So it really could be Department of Defense would be here. In parentheses, it would say DOD. So I'll just kind of show you real quick when you have. Okay, so when working for the DOD. Okay. Graduating Paris Island, even though my service was medically cut short, becoming a Marine was a big achievement for me. So yeah, see, all of them had complete sentences with the exception of this one. So again, parallel format. All right, almost done. I am hoping to transition my love for story writing into a more professional format that will be more applicable. More applicable at work. Let's see. Hoping to transition my love for story writing into a more professional. Okay, will be more. I guess that's fine. It just kind of reads awkwardly when you have repetitive words sometimes. I am a little anxious about the semester as both courses seem to have a heavy workload. What's the other course? So you said you're referring to something that you haven't told your reader about. So at this point as your reader, I'm like, both courses, which ones are you talking about? Balancing all the assignments. I'm just making sure I didn't like overlook something. Oh, maybe the tax classes? Okay, I don't know. Anyway. Seem to have a heavy workload. Let's see, balancing all assignments that are due with my work and family responsibilities is going to be more difficult than usual. I would like to get an A in both courses, continue to raise my GPA. Having a good GPA for my BS in HR will really help me to transition in my career from accounting to human resources. So this time you spelled it out. So see, little inconsistencies there. Switching career paths is my current goal, along with continuing to move up to higher pay grades. Having a family of 5 costs a ton of money, and I am far from making a ton of money. Comma with your conjunction because you have a complete sentence here. Whoops, and a complete sentence here. So cool. All right. So that was really fast, or hopefully it was. But overall, this person did a really great job. He needed to start with an introductory paragraph, just a brief introduction to why he's even sending me this memo. And then he did a great job of formatting. The formatting is very consistent. A couple, like the little colons, that was the only real inconsistency. The spacing is consistent throughout. He used short paragraphs to increase readability, even used a bulletin list to increase readability. Oh, one thing I did notice though, these bullets are not the same as these bullets, and they should be the same because they're the same level. They're not like sub bullets. So one thing I noticed there. The writing looks great. Some comma errors, mostly a comma after an introductory expression and a comma with a conjunction when you're joining two complete sentences. Make sure that you spell out abbreviations, so these should be spelled out. And then, yeah, I think otherwise it looks really great, and it was a quick and easy read, so nothing major. Thanks, guys.